Morning. So it's, well, technically, what, 2 in the morning. But, let's do Thinking Man's Thursday here. So, I do occasionally struggle with what particular topic I want to do these on. But thinking today, it should be something a little more high-minded than usual, or at least I think it is. The the importance of forthrightness, of being eternally honest, and well, you guys have all been following, or at least I'm sure some of you at least, have at least heard of the issue going on between Crowder and the Daily Wire. Now, while I'm a little bit behind on some of the, how to put it, some of the aspects of the situation, some of the really deep details, I have watched Crowder's initial video where he was talking about contract terms, Jeremy Boring's response, and then Crowder's further response to that. And to be fair, I've only seen about the first 8 minutes or so of Jeremy Boring's response. And there's a reason for that. And I was very clear in my comment on that video. There is a degree of hypocrisy in what Jeremy said. And I know that a lot of people are trying to make it out to be Crowder being a betraying friend. When, to be fair, in my opinion, and this is completely my opinion, it was in fact Jeremy who acted as a poor friend initially, in my mind. And this is why. You don't send your friend a contract proposal, non-binding term sheet, whatever terminology you want to use. The terms that were in that sheet would have been preliminary to a contract. Many intended to stay in there, many intended to be removed, or at least intended to be fought over. And this is fine. This is negotiation tactics 101. But that's where I have the issue. You're already entering into a negotiation with someone you claim to be a friend, yet you represent it as starting a conversation. That's not correct. It's not truthful to say that this is a friendly conversation starter. It's anything but. And as I said on my For Fuck's Sakes Friday last week on Rumble, it's a Rumble exclusive. You'll have to go to rumble.com/Ardent Party to find that. But as I said on that video, we're all meant to be on the same side. We're all meant to be, relatively speaking, looking for the same outcomes as conservatives. And Crowder's issue, which he has stated repeatedly, is not the money. And it was a lot of money. But, and you'll hear a lot of people present it as if, oh, Crowder himself was going to be paid $50 million And that was it. That's not correct either. That was a production budget proposal, which would have seen the Daily Wire produce all of Crowder's content. That's not what Crowder was looking for, as I understand it. But that's irrelevant to this particular topic. The topic today is how you act towards your friends. If you're friends with someone, and if you're going to be honest and say, yeah, I'm your friend, then you don't start a conversation by putting them on a business footing. Because when you actually start negotiating from a business standpoint, what you're doing is essentially challenging somebody to what amounts to a contest of wills. Don't do that with your friends. If you and your friend wish to come to a business arrangement, find something that's mutually beneficial. A business negotiation is essentially adversarial. Because you, as the person representing your position, is attempting to gain whatever advantage you can, to come out of the negotiation ahead. That's business. If you're negotiating from a position of friendship, the very first position you should take is, okay, how do I do the work my friend wants me to do? Or how do I get my friend to do the work I want him to do? And it be mutually acceptable. The difference being, in a business negotiation, you're trying to win. In a business negotiation amongst friends, you're trying to advance your cause. You're trying to advance the good of both parties. This is not what Jeremy Boring did. And I'll probably title this video something like Ruthless Business, Ruthless in Business, Ruthlessness in Business, Kindness in Friendship, something of that nature. And that illustrates my reasoning on this point. And yeah, I know this sounds very idealistic, but that's kind of the point. Crowder is an idealist. He has a very specific ideal that he is attempting to follow, attempting to live by. Now, this is, again, my opinion. But the way I see this situation is that Crowder wants to advance the cause of conservatism. Now, you can say, oh, well, that's idealistic, it's naive, you can say whatever you like in that particular case. And you're probably right. I won't deny that you're probably right. But that's kind of the point. What Crowder wants is to create a situation where everyone gets ahead. I don't see an issue there. If you're attempting to create a movement or to foster a movement at the very least, and your ideals align, or you see them aligning with someone else who you consider to be a friend, then when you negotiate, you're actually not negotiating. You are attempting to find the best route forward for both parties. A negotiation is you looking for the best for you. And that's it. Now, you may come to a position that ends up mutually beneficial, but you're not starting with that as your goal. You're starting in a business negotiation with your goal being, how do I advance myself as much as possible through this negotiation? That's the position Jeremy Boring took. That's not the position Stephen Crowder was in. And all that he said, bullshit. Oh, he's blaming his agent. He's doing this. He never should have wiretapped him. That's also bullshit, by the way. If you're in a single-party consent state, you don't have to tell anybody anything about recording their phone calls. If you don't record a phone call with a business negotiation, you're a damn fool. Myself, I recently wrapped up a bit of work for a friend. I'll keep the details of which secret, because that's the way I do business. One of the things I do is maintain confidences. Now, you can also immediately go, well, wait a second, you're defending Crowder for breaking confidences. Different. I was working for a friend, with a friend, for mutual benefit. I took a far lower amount from my friend, because he's my friend, than I would necessarily from a stranger. In fact, I regularly do that, because whether I'm doing proofreading on a new piece of fiction, whether I'm doing a read of original work, whatever it is I'm doing, my ideals align with the benefit to my friend. Whether it's promoting a new artist, as I did with my friend Cassandra Garduna on his piece Leaving Day, which I wrapped up yesterday. Please go and watch that. I think it's some of the best work I've ever done, and I think he does amazing writing. And I am looking forward to doing the next story in the series that he's presented to me. For two reasons. One, I love reading the work. Actually, there's a multitude of reasons, but I love reading his work. It's just enjoyable work in general. I like doing that sort of work. I very much enjoy doing the voice performing for his work. And I love that doing it promotes both of us equally. It promotes him as a writer, as an originator of a piece of art, and it promotes me as talent. And I won't discuss the details of our arrangement beyond that. My friend Christopher Evrard, I did work for him recently, shilling the shit out of his Kickstarter. If you haven't seen his Kickstarter, please go and look at it. It looks to me, at the very least, like the art book he is producing is beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with having new voices in the literary world, especially ones who are not beholden to a publishing house, who are not beholden to this woke ideology bullshit we all hate. And that brings us back around to the Daily Wire Crowder situation. Jeremy Boring's contract terms, and you can say, oh no, it wasn't a contract. Bullshit. The terms that are presented in a non-binding proposal are going to be the negotiating points, which means there are things in there that he intends to keep. And one of those, which from Crowder's own mouth on Timcast, that they would not remove, was the requirement that Crowder stay YouTube acceptable. Crowder hasn't been YouTube acceptable for 3 fucking years. That's predatory business behavior. In those terms is a penalty scheme, for lack of a better term. There may be a more accurate technical terminology for it, but that's what I'm going with, because it does give the impression of what I'm looking for. One moment. Okay, I just had to remind myself to put links for both Kickstarter and Leaving Day in the description of this video. And please like, share, subscribe, comment. You guys know the shill deal. Pester your friends with it. But Jeremy's approach is not the approach of a friend, it's the approach of a businessman. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue I have is to then turn around and say, oh no, we were trying to start a conversation with a friend. Bullshit. Bullshit. If you're trying to start a conversation with a friend, you don't start it that way. You make a phone call. You go and have lunch. You do any number of other things. You don't treat your friends like that, Jeremy. And again, as I said, Crowder is not attempting to get himself over. And one of the stated things he said, one of the things he has said himself, is that his concern was for the people who come after him. He doesn't want to pull the ladder up. He wants to, and he did definitely blow the lid off the issues with Daily Wire's terms. To try and tell Steven Crowder, and I'm sorry, if you haven't followed Steven Crowder, he is regularly completely demonetized by YouTube at this point, has been for years. And to turn around and tie his income, or his ability to make income, to YouTube's acceptance of him, it's insane. Especially when the word demonetize is in there, and you know damned well he's been demonetized for a long time. So what you're basically telling him is, stop being Steven Crowder and you can work for me. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but go fuck yourself. Integrity doesn't have a dollar value. And I've said that repeatedly. So yeah, you can be ruthless in business, but not with your friends. Ruthlessness in business, kindness in friendship. That should be the way we treat each other. And I've had some long thoughts about this and asked myself very straight up, very hard question. How would I react to that offer? Would I take the offer? Would I, as a small, tiny, I have 185 subs. God love you all. But I'm a tiny, tiny channel in this big pond. And yeah, I'm attempting, and I'm really considering going full on Rumble to get away from YouTube, to put my money where my mouth is, to act with the courage of my convictions. But right now, and this is the position Crowder was in, YouTube is the biggest game in town, much as we wish it otherwise. But even Crowder himself has pointed out, whether it's accurate or not, that it looks like he's flipped the numbers, that he has more views on Rumble than he does on YouTube. That's glorious. That's absolutely glorious. And he's setting records on Rumble for viewership. Also nice. And I have noticed, with my 36, 38, maybe only 33 followers on Rumble, that I'm getting far better engagement on Rumble than I have on YouTube. In terms of sheer numbers, I have, as I said, somewhere in the mid-30s, and that's it, just 33, 37, somewhere in that range, followers on Rumble. But I regularly have more comments and more views on Rumble than I do on YouTube. And that's great. Obviously, for fuck's sakes Friday, the only place you're going to find that is on Rumble. Because some of the things I say there, I couldn't get away with on YouTube. That's where I have a big issue. Is YouTube deciding what I can and can't say. And of course, this is one of the things Boring said at the beginning of his video. We never tell anyone what they can and can't say. But that's actually bullshit. That's very deceptive terminology. It's true and it's a lie at the same time. Because when you tell someone, yeah, we're not going to tell you what you can and can't say, but we're going to penalize you if you do things that if you do things that YouTube says you can't say. So you're allowing a third party to dictate terms between you and your employee. It would be one thing if that was a customer and you were running a business, retail, for example. Then yes, the customer should more or less always be right. There's gray areas and lines of hard no everywhere. But this is where I began to have a problem with Jeremy's stance. And this is criticism, not condemnation. Understand, I am very happy to see the Daily Wire in a conservative space where they're fighting back against Hollywood and the agenda that Hollywood pushes. I'm coming up on a lot of time. I'm going to have to wrap this up very quick. But, and I have been invited by another friend to, or actually one of my followers, to be on his channel to have a discussion about this. And I will, and I have accepted. It's just working out scheduling details at this point. Looks like it'll be early next week. But the big issue I have here is acting with integrity towards your friends. And this is not what, in my opinion, Jeremy Boring has done, or the Daily Wire in general has done. And I very much agree with Crowder that if you're going to try to be in a conservative space, then you need to think about what you're conserving. If you're simply calling yourself conservative as a means to create an antagonistic relationship with what you see as the left, and you're on the right, then you're not standing for anything, you're standing against something. Personally, I would prefer to stand for something. For right behavior, for right thinking. Now, that's not right wing, I mean just righteousness. Though I'm not really that ideologically inclined. But as I said, and I'll end with this, ruthlessness in business, kindness in friendship. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you continue to have good days. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.